Whether you call it pandering or 11th hour political surprises or just plain old stunts, do they work? I want to bring in two people who know everything about what the Democrats and the Republicans are capable of doing when it comes to attracting voters. Bauer is the former lieutenant governor of South Carolina, and Bill Kristol is a political commentator and the editor at large of The Bulwark. Okay, so Bill, let me just ask you right off the bat. We opened the show with a bit of a list of things that people are doing, sometimes in office and sometimes just, campaigning to, appease voters, within a couple of weeks of the midterms. Does it work, or do people see through this?
So glad you asked me that, Ashleigh, instead of about that sex tape. Fascinating segment though that was.
Coming.
I'm happy. I'm happy not to discuss it. Look, I mean, it doesn't. I don't know if it works or it doesn't work. I mean, if it's just a stunt, it doesn't work. But to be fair, Joe Biden ran on forgiving student loans to some degree. It's been part of the Democratic platform, and Democratic candidates have talked about it, and he did it. Maybe the timing has something to do with the election, but it's one of the things that distinguishes the two parties. Strategic oil reserve decision, I actually think that's a good decision. It lessens the impact of Putin's war on energy prices, which is good for us, good for our allies as well. And I actually wish we were doing more to produce some energy. So, I think these things are sort of defensible. Republicans like to promise tax cuts or other things, but that's a difference in the party. The Republicans think tax cuts benefit the country. Democrats tend to think some government programs benefit more. So I don't know. You can call it pandering. That's fair enough. And sometimes it really is just pandering. But often it does sort of reveal something about the character of the two parties.
So, Lieutenant Governor, I'd love you to step into this discussion as well, because, you've had to go through campaigns. You know how hard it is to reach people. My guest just before you just told me how hard it is to reach people, and he's gone to extraordinary lengths, and I will refrain from asking about that right away. But for the voter out there who doesn't get to follow every piece of arcane political news that, hits Capitol Hill or hits the, Sunday talk shows, et cetera, how are we to determine between timed treats like this and honest to goodness platforms that are just rolling out as they were supposed to, timing be damned? How are we supposed to navigate when we're being played?
Well, a couple of things. Number one, the government's not supposed to be giving out goodies. Our federal government was set up for national defense, things like roads and bridges that were interstates. But it's not really supposed to be given. Year after year after year, the federal government continues to give away so-called goodies at the taxpayers' expense, but that's not what our forefathers even set the federal government up for. But saying that, going back to the strategic reserve, 1973, we, because of outside influences and other country wars, Yom Kippur, we were put in a very bad situation. As a small child, I can remember my parents only being able to buy a few gallons of gas. From a strategic standpoint of making sure that we have reserves in effect should we have a national crisis, and an election is not that. President Ford set this up in '75 to make sure this didn't happen again. And so our government, Republicans and Democrats, have voted year after year to make sure that we put provisions in to protect our people. This is one of those things that, quite frankly, shouldn't be involved at all. It should not happen, especially not before an election, but it shouldn't be dipped into the kitty. And I fought Republicans and Democrats for all these giveaways. It's not just on one side, but this is one thing where it boils much more down to safety of our country than worrying about if we get 30 cents off at the gallon.
Okay, so when you say we shouldn't be giving out the treats, Bill, I'm going to get you to weigh in on a list. I put this up last night. I want to put it up again tonight because I'm a bit flummoxed why we don't hear more about what Biden can say are his accomplishments. He instead is just fighting the gas prices and the inflation, et cetera. But, these are literally things that just happened. Infrastructure bill, Inflation Reduction Act, the CHIPS Act, the Safer Communities Act. He added 6 million jobs in 2021. But, a lot of people instead are hearing a lot of naysaying and doom. And I think it's a fair question for voters to ask, as someone of your ilk who's seen a few of these races, what do we have to be optimistic about? If that list isn't something that's, screamed high and heavy on the trail, well, what is?
Off-year elections usually go against the incumbent party because voters sort of have in the front of their mind, they have the things they don't like about the current administration or just the situation of the country, and they take the good stuff for granted. So Biden might have done some things very well. I think he's done quite a few things pretty well, actually. But often you don't get credit. You often lose off your election. I'm not sure the Democrats will, but they could. That's the history. And then they also just come back and get reelected, right? So the presidents themselves, when it's an actual choice of leadership at the presidential level. So I wouldn't, I understand why Democrats are frustrated that Biden doesn't get more credit. Maybe they have done a good job explaining it, the pandemic, the everything that's going on, and then just made it a cluttered field, let's say, to explain things. And I do think inflation is, you can step back if you're an economist and say, oh, well, it's not that big a deal. And wages have gone up as well. And it's a couple of percentage points and it will probably fade a bit. But if you're an actual voter, all of us, we see it. We see it in the grocery stores. We certainly see it at the pump. That's the thing. That's the price we see when we drive around, when we fill up once a week or once every other week or whatever.
Sure.
It's very real to us.
It's the now.
And so,
it's the now. Yep. And a lot of those things on the list, you don't feel those, for months, sometimes years. Last question, Lieutenant Governor, and that's about the question I'm going to ask from the guy who was in Brian Enton's news report. He was arrested and he seemed very confused about it. And then when he was in the cruiser, he said, why now? I mean, this is so long ago. Why now? And I think that's a really fair question for voters. Why would that information all be trickling out, those videos of 19 people? And by the way, 19, I think we can all agree it's a small number, and it's certainly not going to prove widespread voter fraud. But what do you say to that, the why now, for that guy who says this is timed very odd?
Legitimate question. My bigger question is, why aren't they going after the groups that sought these people out and tried to convince them? They presented themselves as knowledgeable groups and went looking for people maybe not as well versed on what they could or couldn't do after being a convicted felon. And it just seems like a group of folks actually went out and signed up people that they knew quite possibly weren't allowed to vote. But to paraphrase someone, a politician I heard a long time ago, it's not my quote, but I like it. They should get voting rights when their victims get breathing rights. And so it's a slippery slope. If you don't go after these folks, more and more people will do it. So I think it needs to be a strong arm of the law of anyone that's not supposed to be voting, that votes ought to be prosecuted to full extent of the law. Everybody, I don't care if it's one person, it's a slippery slope. A car break-in turns into armed robbery, and it grows bigger and bigger. The crime grows bigger and bigger the more people that are allowed to continue to do it. Same thing with voter fraud. If they know voter fraud is not going to be prosecuted, more and more people will do it. So I feel bad for some of these folks. They actually legitimately didn't seem like they knew they had done anything wrong. But at some point in time, the word needs to get out. If you do these crimes, people are going to prosecute them, because if you don't, it'll be like Chicago all over the country.
And as we say, in the business and everywhere else, timing is everything. Lieutenant Governor Andre Bauer and Bill Kristol, pleasure to have you both. Thanks so much for this. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Ashleigh.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.